So I want to get into pressing with you, and we're going to dive into that next. But before we do that, there was an amazing thing that took place this past week. And I saw you in the chat on Whatnot, and we have to talk about it. I wanted to get your gut. Like, we haven't even chatted about this.
I got the notification, and I had to pop it. And it was one of those, I'm like, fine, I'm in there.
I'm springing this on you right now, Comic Fam. Hit the like, slap the subscribe button. We got the Comic Sensei in the house, Mill Geek Comics, Russ Bright. Again, available on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, or iTunes. And if you find us on iTunes, do us a favor. Give it a review. We have, over on the best new place to buy and sell collectibles, Whatnot, an amazing store that is over there. And I'm not talking about my store. I'm not talking about Russ's store, even though our stores are fantastic. We have SMZ Comics. Shout out to my homies over there. And these are individuals who've been in the comic game for a long time, but they're on Whatnot, kind of fresh. They're starting to grow their profile. And these are some elite dealers, and they don't mess around. And to start things off with a bang, they brought out a 2.5 AF-15 dollar star auction, no reserve on Whatnot. And the price that it went for has people buzzing in the community for the wrong reasons. And I gotta spell it out to the comic fam, Russ, because this is an amazing thing to take place, but also it means so much for the comic industry and Whatnot. The price went for $30,000, all right? And we saw 2.5s exceed $45,000 in the last year. And the last 2.5 to sell on GPA prior to this Whatnot sale was for like it was like $34,000 or $35,000, if I remember correctly. However, that 2.5, a lot of people didn't even look it up. It looked horrendous.
Right.
The actual Spider-Man face on that beautiful cover was faded. It was like it was erased a bit. So as far as eye appeal goes, this $30,000 sale, in my book, should have sold far above the recent $34,000 sale, at least breaking $40,000. In my opinion, $40K would have been a steal for this book, and it sold for $30K. So this is what I wanted to bring to your attention and to the rest of the community's attention too. I have word from Whatnot, this has publicly been announced, that this seller had seller protection on this book. And what that means is, if it sold for a agreed upon price, like under that agreed upon price, Whatnot is gonna make sure that seller's taken care of. In efforts to bring sales like this to the app. They want to see high-end books come to the app. And a lot of the, conversations that I've seen spawn out of this sale for $30,000 is, don't bring your high-end books to the app. And I think that is the wrong way to look at it. What's your gut response knowing that Whatnot is putting money down, investing in sellers to bring these types of books to the app?
Well, first off, these guys had cojones grandes to be able to bring this. Like, seriously, it was one of those things that I saw this going, you're bringing what? I figured they probably had some type of seller protection. It was about a month ago, we had the 1 in 25 Jurdovic Ultimate Fallout 4 and a 9.8, and that went for what, $34,000?
It broke records.
It did. It broke records on CGC.
So there are big sales that take place here,
yes.
and it's good to go.
If you're looking at some of the sports card sales that happen there, some of the sneakerhead sales, I mean, Whatnot is a marketplace, is way more than just comic books. There are things that sell there for a lot. There are graded Pokemon cards, speaking of Pokemon, that sell for a lot of money. It's nice that they are giving a safety net to some of these bigger books. I think that it is going to bring more people to the marketplace. I think that it will bring more eyes away from places like Heritage and Comic Link and Shortboxed. If you're going to be selling a graded book on a large auction house like Hakes, or if you're going to sell it on Whatnot, because there is that FOMO. The fact that there was a pre-bid of $20,000 that they cleared out and restarted it at $1.
Fresh.
Absolutely amazing. Like, I thought that was a great thing of them to do. I wish they hadn't done a 5-minute auction. I think they ended up losing a little bit of the steam and the interest in the room had they only done a 1-minute auction.
I agree.
Because you and I both saw it went to $25,000 in about 3 seconds. and then it kind of stagnated, and then it went up a little bit, and then it hit 30, and then I left because I actually had a live sale to do because it had taken over 5 minutes, and it was at 30 when I left, and then it didn't end for much higher than that. So as far as the seller protection, great idea. I want sellers to understand that not all sellers are going to get seller protection. And you're not going to be at the point where you can just go up here and say, hey, I got a bunch of $20 books. And if they sell for $6, can Whatnot make sure that, no.
That's not how that works.
Right? If you want seller protection, you got to be a big boy and you got to bring some big books. Now, if someone wants to bring their, Tech 27 and a 2.0, yeah, let's
get in touch with Whatnot. Maybe they want to see that on there.
They absolutely may. We've seen Tyler Kirkham sell his own original art on there. For Art Germ selling original art, and you're seeing these original art pieces. He did the cover. Back to Kirkham. Tyler Kirkham did the cover for his Invincible.
Yeah, the Battle Damage classic.
Absolutely.
Books, yeah.
And what did they go for? Over $10,000?
Yeah, they were up there in price.
I was there watching those live bidding as well, and it is incredible. So the marketplace is there, the money is there, and I think that when Whatnot says, hey, sellers, we're going to make sure that you're not going to lose out on this, it only makes the community stronger, and that's going to make Whatnot a long-term selling marketplace. This is the idea. You want to get pillars of the community selling there with regularity, and by being able to say, hey man, we know that this book is worth $35,000. If it goes for less than that, we're going to make sure you get $35,000 out of it, right? That's the most important thing, because that seller is going to have the confidence to go, I don't need to bring this anywhere else. I don't have to take it to eBay and go, I'm going to take a 20 cent on the dollar hit with an eBay selling fee.
Absolutely.
Right? It's much better.
So I got to spell this out for the comic fan, because something very important is taking place. There will be a time, eventually, that this is going to be commonplace. That across the board, you're going to be able to get an AF-15 at an auction on Whatnot. It takes some companies years and years to build up to being able to do that. And Whatnot is putting money down to make sure that it happens as fast as humanly possible. In the meantime, what that means is Whatnot is investing in their sellers, giving confidence to bring these once-in-a-lifetime types of deals to the marketplace so that the buyers benefit. An AF-15 selling for $10,000 under market doesn't mean don't bring your comics here. On the contrary, it means if you are an investor or are interested in possibly getting deals on blue chip comics, there is a place, the only place I know of in the marketplace, that is selling them at times for under $10,000 under market. Download Whatnot. Now is the time. There will be a point that you wished you were part of the community and were a member of Whatnot during, right now, the heyday when it was assembling the sellers, bringing and acquiring the inventory so that long-term future sellers feel confident. But in the meantime, download the app, because an AF-15 hitting 30K in a market where that book, had that gone on Comic Link, oh, I bet that book would have broken $45,000. Hot damn, comic fam, download the best new app to buy and sell collectibles. Right now, we are in kind of like the promised land. For when these books sell, yeah, sometimes they're gonna go for market, but sometimes they're gonna go for far under market. Whatnot has protected the sellers, which means the benefit is 100% on the buyers. Someone this past week just got the deal of a lifetime.
I definitely agree with that. We have to keep in mind that Whatnot's been an app for a couple years, but the comic books has only really started growing the last 6 months. So if you go in there and you start looking at, like I said, the Pokemon feeds, if you look at the sports card box breaks, you regularly have a lot of the sports card box breaks that'll have 200, 300, 500 people in a feed. The only time we see 500 people in a comic book feed is when they're selling an AF-15. Most of the days you pop on right now, there's 60 or 70 people in some of the bigger feeds. Anytime you go right now, you'll probably see there's 80 people in a feed. That is how small of a percentage compared to building up the sports card breaks, right? So I think that right now, Whatnot is putting their money where their mouth is, because they believe that they can be the #1 largest market online, eclipsing every other person. And I'm putting all of my energy behind it right now. I love selling on Whatnot. I enjoy being there. I enjoy doing this. And I think that we are just starting out. It's going to grow.
So we're a sponsor. Like, this podcast is sponsored by Whatnot. You can hit the link in the description to follow my page or Russ's page on there. When I saw what this book was hitting, dude, I don't like to compete with the comic fam, especially during moments like this. And I was just like, oh, I got to figure out how to spend $30,000 right now. Like, oh my gosh, someone's going to get this for 30 grand.
It was a deal.
And
like,
so,
I'm looking at it wondering, I'm like, can I sell something? What can I, like, really, this would have been something that would have been worth buying at that price. It was so low. I was shocked.
So big, huge shout out to Whatnot for making that happen. Giant shout out to SMZ Comics. You guys know who you are out there, and you're killing the game. And they're talking about bringing equivalent comics to the mic to do it again. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for some of these books. I cannot stress enough to go on to Whatnot, be present for these types of deals because they're happening. While the app grows its comic section, the buyers are going to benefit. Clear as day, point in case, AF-15 just sold for $30K for a 2.5.
Book has hit $20. Let off the gas, comic fan, unless you're really gunning for some Jack for the goodness.
$75 cover price on this, don't overbid, but if somebody wants it, we got it.